I'd like to say he's on the grid with Simon.
Davide, although the Yamahas look extra strong here, Misano speak that he seems quite confident doing something. What do you think?
Yeah, we're quite confident as far as concerned the pace.
Grid that were going for the hard rear tyre were the Monster Energy Yamaha men, Maverick Vinales and Valentino Rossi, which means if Rossi's dropped down...
Sure, I can't see for the moment. I think you're right. I think it is Ecoless. 3 of those on the screen winners so far. Can the man on the far left from pole get it going? There is
Coping performance in FP3 yesterday. You could have sold 99,970 seats. There he is then. Can he take that landmark 200?
Had such a good day here last year and almost won it with this man, Fabio Quartararo, but there's no Marc Marquez here following as well.
First laps are going to be critical as always for Maverick Vinales. He's got to get a great start and
it's just about enjoying the race here today, but surely it's got to be so much more than that. There's bragging rights going, and of course Dovi as well.
Can they capitalise on that hit?
In Misano, lights out and away we go. Not a good start from Maverick Vinales at all. Franco Morbidelli got away really well. Fabio Quartararo.
And as did Fabio Quartararo. Disastrous start from the front row for the Frenchman. So it's Morbidelli and Rossi, an Italian 1-2 in Misano.
The 2 Suzuki's had a good start. They've made up a couple of places. They're just behind Fabio Quartararo.
And Quartararo not where he wanted to be at all because he's now ahead of him.
Rossi's through. He's through side by side. He's got that tight line up the inside though. It's going to be close this one. And he closes the door, does Franco Morbidelli.
Leads his home Grand Prix through Cavone for the first time. Big head shakes for both the Yamahas.
Blimey. Teeth chattering. He leads from Valentino Rossi, Jack Miller, then it's Maverick Vinales, and Fabio Quartararo is desperate to try and find a way past Maverick.
The exact opposite to the starts that Morbidelli and Rossi both made.
On the exit at all, he stays in 9th. Rossi's eager here.
It's on the Pramo Ducati. Rossi had a look at turn 8 on the last lap. He's going for it again. Up the inside of Morbidelli. Morbidelli just leaves his braking that little bit later.
Rossi gets out of turn 6. Through we go then into turn number 10. There's Quartararo trying to find a way.
Threatening, aren't they? Rins 6th place. Mir in 7th.
Terrible start for Miguel Oliveira. He lost 5 places.
He's still in 16th place at the moment. Thought Rins was going to fire it up the inside of Quartararo into turn 14. No way through. It's probably for that hard rear tyre to properly come in.
Second lap of the race then completed. The 2 men, Vinales. There is the Suzuki of Juan Mir. He's got a bit of space between himself and Pecco Bagnaia.
Dovizioso is coming under threat there at the top of your pitch from Johann Zarco. Was Zarco going through on Dovizioso into turn number 4?
Challenge once more.
That was a great shot there of Jack Miller using that Ducati ride height device to get that lower that rear end and get the drive grip coming out of turn.
Fastest lap of the race, Franco Morbidelli. He led, of course.
I think Quartararo might just be attacking Maverick Vinales there. It was getting very, very close.
Here come the top 3, and here come Maverick and Fabio. Fabio is looking for a move. Will it come at turn 14? Both of them. No, he's not quite close enough this time into 14.
Yeah, he's really pulling the pressure on Vinales now, isn't he? Like than last time around. That's just about keeping the boss at bay.
On board with the doctor there as we come across the line. He won't have a go into turn
4. Bradley Smith, the Aprilia test rider, unfortunately. He's taken a tumble at turn 14.
Yeah, this is good from Jack Miller. Really good. Look at that. Rear end.
Squats down.
Squatting beautifully.
Like a chopper.
Down into turn 6 once more. Still after Binder came through the field.
And what we've shown in recent history, what we've learned in history, is that sometimes both how will that work out as we get into the business end of this race? Now then, Quartararo again trying to show Vinales a front tyre at Cavone.
You've got to watch that track limits. Speaking of penalties, etc., it just came up on our screen that Iker Lecuona's got to take a long lap penalty.
Not a lot of difference between the two of them in terms of lap times, but Rins is opened up an advantage of 7/10. He's taken a big chunk of time out of Mir.
Fastest man on that last lap, Alex Rins, 32.9. Grid procedure infraction. You were right there, Matt. Absolutely strong lap penalty for Iker Lecuona. So far so good then for Franco Morbidelli, but he's got company and Miller's closed that gap down.
And Quartararo, that hard rear tyre now will be in and working nicely. It'll be up to working temperature now for Maverick Vinales. So now Rossi and Morbidelli ahead of him, because at the moment he's dealing with Quartararo relatively comfortably.
On board with Valentino Rossi then, his protege, plus naught Rossi on his pit board since the start of this one. There is Alex Rins then, fastest man on circuit. Trying to
Davide Brivio say how difficult it is to overtake around this tight, twisty, technical Misano circuit. Rins has been much quicker than
behind Juan Mir now. There's some air. Bagnaia struggling to maintain this pace. It's only going to get a bit harder for Bagnaia as well. And Dovi
There's Rossi then rolling back the ears into turn 4, keeping that gap down to under a couple of tenths to Frank Ranchin-Tavullia. These two always pair up together.
I'll say this as we look at Taka Nakagami.
Vinales. This is further back down the field. A battle raging between the Espargaro brothers. Pole 12th, Aleix in third. Heroics of Brno and Spielberg 2.
Yeah, this is a bit of a bounce back down to earth for KTM here this weekend, isn't it? 12th place, but those two crashes yesterday were big mistakes. Here we are on board with Franco Morbidelli. He's got to
Pecco Bagnaia, because he's got incredible rhythm at the moment. Fastest rider on this circuit right now is Pecco Bagnaia. He's just off. Dovizioso and Zarco just cannot get close enough to barge Bagnaia.
Themselves in the mix for a surprise podium. At the front there's no change. Rossi's trying to apply pressure to Franco Morbidelli, but so far the pieces as well, if should it all go wrong. Still nothing really coming from Vinales or Quartararo at the moment.
It's been as you were, isn't it now?
He probably, oh, there goes the move then for Fabio Quartararo.
Probably nerfed him out of the way. Picked him up big style there, didn't he?
He has the inside. He now do about that gap to Jack Miller, which has gone up to half a second.
Yeah, a change that will chafe for Maverick Vinales, his future teammate coming was of Joan Mir ahead of him.
Yeah, he's catching. Oh, no! He's gone down!
Quartararo's bailed out!
The World Championship leader is down at turn
14 on the previous lap, and at turn 4 by Fabio Quartararo on the deck at turn number 4.
The gap.
Can you believe this? Andrea Dovizioso, we just said it. The guy's not even in the top 6, and he could be leaving his home Grand Prix Misano.
This is incredible. It's incredible. Valentino Rossi, this is on.
You could not make this up.
Bagnaia's charging. It's incredible. Here comes Rins up the inside of Maverick Vinales as well. He's shaking his head, Maverick. This is going from bad to worse for the number 12. 32.706 for the injured Italian.
Bagnaia's in a different race to the guys ahead of him. Different race. He's done 32.7. He was sick of rear tyre decision. Backfiring right now for Maverick.
Around the outside. Pecco Bagnaia around the outside of Joan Mir. No.
Away from Andrea Dovizioso behind him. It's tight there between Mir and Vinales through turn 10.
Bagnaia's going to make light work of this.
In the world, and that's what's keeping Pecco Bagnaia going right now. There's still a long way to go, 19 laps to go, but he can sniff the podium already.
Queen, Morbidelli and Rossi, but you're looking here at Pecco Bagnaia, the fastest man on circuit. Well, he certainly was.
Quartararo dumping it right in front of him, just unnerved him a little bit as well. That's Mir
wide
well way
Mir.
hot, and that's allowed Bagnaia through.
Expected it to at all. Plan A was to get out front and bolt. It went wrong from the moment the lights went out.
Interesting, you can see with that clear track ahead of him, Pecco Bagnaia, again as they engaged that rear ride height device. Mir was almost close to tagging Vinales there, wasn't he, in the first corner. You cannot
today. The only man I fear is Fabio Quartararo, who's now out of the race, and this is gone straight through. Like he was standing still, and Maverick Vinales from
race in Jerez and Andalusia. We thought he was going to steamroller towards the World Championship with Marc Marquez sidelined. He's not going to have a top 6.
It is just astonishing. What I can tell you is we are going to have another new race winner. What happens here?
This has been incredible. Alex Rins has got into a serious groove now. He's also, like Bagnaia, able to dip into those 32s. Half a second faster than Morbidelli, half a second quicker than Rossi, and 6/10 faster than Miller.
Out of turn 6 we go, by the way. This does him so many favours in the World Championship. I think he'd just be a handful of points back down on Dovash from Quartararo. He just dismissed Maverick Vinales. The bike had never settled there. It was slightly in wide as well.
It was very Razlan Razlik. They cannot believe it. Well, this is the World Championship lead surrendered.
That's his first crash in a while.
In a race.
Maybe Sachsenring last year.
Yeah, it's definitely one for the scrapbook. Oh, Jack Miller's had a track limits warning, really put him in trouble.
Morbidelli started to break
He's
away
looking
here.
good, isn't he?
He's looking fantastic, Franco Morbidelli.
Put himself in this position, didn't he? Doesn't strike twice. Can anybody do a bender on Morbidelli this time around? At the moment, he's got Rossi and Miller pretty comfortably covered. Yeah, and behind him, he needs to do that because Alex Rins yet again fired in another 132.8. That's back-to-back 132.8s from the...
We're only 11 laps gone. There's still 16 to go. A lot could still change, and there's so many different combinations of tyre out. He's in a world of his own.
And you talk about the highs and lows of Grand Prix racing. I mean, let's not forget Red Bull Ring 1, what happened to Franco Morbidelli in their home Grand Prix. They're great friends off the circuit. Almost as close as brothers, aren't they, this pair? And when you think of all such a great result for the pair of them.
Well, he'd certainly deserve it, Morbidelli out front, and the reason I say that is because 20 odd points.
And we're staring history in the face as well, because Valentino Rossi at the moment is well on course to be taking that 200. Great rhythm at this stage, and we're still not even at half race distance.
No, Alex Rins here right now looks like that he's got a good chance of still winning this race.
A very humbling afternoon so far.
It does seem that track conditions change after Moto3 and Moto2 races have been on, but he seems to suffer way more than most.
Top four, but of those four men, the two least likely candidates that you thought to be the first and second were Rossi and Morbidelli.
Wow, the dispatch of Miller quickly,
he's going for it now.
And he's going for it.
That's
That was
awesome.
lovely. And now Pecco Bagnaia is closing on his teammate as well.
And Rins is now going to start posing. Rossi and Morbidelli. Pecco Bagnaia thought of having a look up the inside of Jack Miller into turn 4, which has proven so costly for Fabio.
Is Miller just starting to find it hard going tyre-wise as he sees his teammate go through.
There's not a lot wrong with what a performance this has been. He was the top Ducati, wasn't he, in that Andalusian Grand Prix when that cruel mechanical problem denied him finish in MotoGP.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he manages to get past Alex Rins, there'll be some VR46 Academy party tonight. So then, we are at the halfway point of this MotoGP race in Misano.
First time, Steve, that Franco Morbidelli's struck
last lap, pretty much identical time to Alex Rins. Fastest rider, actually, was Joan Mir, number 36.
Yeah.
Jack Miller.
Yeah, and that lap time mullered Miller because he was 1.4 seconds ahead of the Aussie, or clear of the Aussie on that lap, so he's going to be reading
in 8th place. And Nakagami's found some speed. He's up into 9th and he's lapping quicker than most.
Well, Davizio potentially leading the MotoGP World Championship. How many more twists and turns are we going to get in the road before we get to... Look how quickly Rins and Bagnaia have dispensed with the challenge of Jack Miller, who's now got his hands full keeping Mir at bay.
After 5 races, nobody has got more than 2 podiums this season, and that might be set to continue after this.
It's where they've had such outstanding success, real stars of the show in many respects in 2020. They have not got a bike at the moment. 22.748. It's a personal best lap from the Italian. That's broken Rossi. That has broken Valentino Rossi, because Morbidelli was keeping Rins and Bagnaia behind him.
Yeah, he's got some work on, hasn't he, to try and hold on to this podium, because there's some good both quicker than Rossi, Rins and Bagnaia last time around. Here is Johan Zarco. He's still fighting injury as well, but he's in...
Yeah, Fabio Quartararo is still out there at the back of the pack in 20th and number 20. He's just on a 133 to 33s.
Well, Rins is closing on Rossi, but look who's closing on Rins.
It's going to get worse as well in a minute for Maverick Vinales, because
how is it possible? How can you be so fast all weekend, destroy the lap record?
By choice. He was the only man to go for that hard rear tyre. It was what he loved and what he'd been so fast and strong on all weekend, but with this win, Rins was able to find a way through on Jack Miller quite quickly. Look at the corner speed. The Suzuki's got much better corner speed, much better edge grip as well.
Ability of that Suzuki in comparison to the Ducati as well.
And Bagnaia quite a bit quicker than Rossi. Ahead of the Mir, out of the seat.
Bit eager there on the power, wasn't he?
Steady on Joan.
The point is so precious.
Unbelievable. I mean, Alex Rins at the moment on that last lap was 4/10 quicker than Rossi. Now you can forget about Franco Morbidelli right now. He knows he's creeping ever closer to a breakthrough. Fantastic first victory in MotoGP. Now Rossi's struggling here, big start.
A matter of time, doesn't it? For Valentino Rossi, his pace has fallen.
Well, Rossi starts...
upset things, and Mir has got through. Mir's gone through on Jack Miller, so Miller then, having made such...
He's still doing low 133s, it's just behind him. Rins and Bagnaia, they just cannot drop out of the 32s. I don't think the men behind him just that little bit quicker.
Oh, that was lovely from Joan Mir.
That's just a bit of corner speed.
Rossi in second. Alex Rins there in 4th on the Suzuki, and then the Ducati of Pecco Bagnaia was brilliant there as well. We remind you, Pecco Bagnaia is walking around the paddock with a crutch from his broken... Doesn't look like right now he's worried about that.
If he takes a home podium off Rossi, he might get a whack round the back of the head with that crutch.
And this has been a masterclass from Franco Morbidelli thus far.
Full respect again to Rossi. Once again, a low one, high 132.
But finally, Maverick Vinales, after 18 laps, has put in his fastest lap of them
quite brilliantly in Jerez when he took his only podium of the season so far. He's going to have to do a lot of defensive work over these last 9 laps.
Will that last the distance? Can Rossi keep them at bay?
Rossi probably glad though that
the championship leader will retire, and he can't believe it.
Can you believe what has happened in MotoGP?
Opportunity.
Rossi's got pretty decent rhythm. It's just that those two behind him are that little bit quick.
Rins and Bagnaia behind you for 8 laps is a job like no other.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one even for a rider.
Breaking into turn 4. Be hard to get done there unless you were right alongside. And this,
Steve, in terms of championship, he will not want to lose this podium.
Here comes Rins. Is he going to have a look up the inside into turn 8? Is he going to outbreak Rossi? Not the Bagnaia as well.
Quartararo is actually coming into pits now. He's rejoined the race. Not going to be scoring any points today, though.
Some time on Valentino Rossi, and here comes Pecco Bagnaia at the inside of Rins. That was brilliant from the Pramac Ducati rider. Is he going to do 2 in 1?
Brave in the extra.
It's more, but it's Quartararo. Goodness me, I thought it was more.
Do you know what? I thought the same.
Oh,
well, Fabio Quartararo day here in Misano. Second crash of the day.
I apologise to all Franco Morbidelli fans because.
So anyway, Rossi still standing firm despite the immense pressure being piled on by Pecco Bagnaia and Alex throwing the Yamaha SR.
Time round, and he's having a look here up the inside of Valentino Rossi, his boss as well. We've got the 2 Academy boys ahead of the boss.
The Academy was designed to bring through young talent, not necessarily to beat the boss, but that's exactly what Morbidelli and Bagnaia are doing right, because Alex Rins has still got, what, 6 laps to go to try and force that issue.
Well, I just did not see this one. Try and hold on to Rins, who thought about the move into turn 2 there. He wants to make it stick. I just want to point out as well.
And this would be, what, the 4th first-time winner in 6 Grand Prix already this season if Franco Morbidelli gets the...
He's having a look here on the brakes at Valentino Rossi. The block pass is coming. Oh, my goodness me, that was close.
Oh, I was wincing.
When he's on a podium, if you're going to make the move, make it clear. I mean, he's in through mid-corners. The Suzuki's absolutely all over that
in the future. And what this is doing, this little bit of a scrap unfolding between Rossi and Rins, is just giving Mir and Rins. Looks like he's going to have that second place, which should have been his, of course, in Andalusia a few weeks ago.
Further back, laps to go now. Morbidelli is clear by 2.9 seconds over Bagnaia. On board with Rins, though. Move there from Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, Mir Rins rather, just trying to pick as possibly can. This is going to be tough going here for Alex Rins. We saw Bagnaia just use the power of the Ducati down the back straight to get up the inside of Rossi.
Each lap will feel like a million years right now for him.
Andrea Dovizioso may well go in the way of Andrea Dovizioso.
Out of turn 10 we go.
Mir is not out of this. In fact, he was a lot quicker. With that clear track, he's much quicker than Rossi and Rins ahead of him. 4/10 faster than the 2 men.
Here he comes, Rins is outside. Rins trying everything.
There's a big screen there as well. Rossi would have had a right good glare at that big screen and seen the 2 Suzukis ganging.
That gone. Rossi's managed to hold on to this crucial podium spot. Tito Rabat's crashed out. Rider's absolutely fine. Longest point, and now Mir is on them as well.
Rins doing all he can to try and find a way through on Rossi.
Over in a moment, Joan Mir, because Mir will be thinking, well, I can get on this podium myself.
Tito Rabat, so let's hope that he's perfectly okay. Still, he desperately wants to make it onto the podium here in Misano for the 200th time in the Premier Class. He loved to stand on the podium. Morbidelli, we haven't had an all-Italian podium in MotoGP since Silverstone back in 2015, when it was Rossi, Petrucci and
Rossi then at the moment. Can you imagine if they are able to stay in these positions?
Well, he's coming back towards Pecco, everything out this, but he hasn't been able to make a decisive breakaway from Valentino Rossi. And at the moment, Pecco Bagnaia, he's got himself
a big favour and buy himself some time if he can find a way back past Pecco Bagnaia. It's so difficult to predict this one. We've got 3.1 seconds up the road. I mean, it's a shame for him that we're not able to witness this show that he's put on, because he's been...
It was all to do with the famous Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. Well, he's done the right thing so far. Franco Morbidelli has not put a foot wrong. Thought Rins breaks, though, into turn 8. Rins just cannot get through.
Well, Rossi's now thinking, I want second spot. I need to be getting that spot. I need speed of that Ducati. That's the key. It's so difficult to overtake.
Miller's now got a second win to keep the Vizioso
in MotoGP.
You just don't know where to look. Top Honda again in 9th. Credit to him on what's been a very bumpy and rocky road on this new Misano.
Line next. Morbidelli's further up the road. And again, through these final sectors, Bagnaia's lead over Rossi. Will Rins have another look at Valentino Rossi here? No.
So Rins and Mir, they're running out of time here so far. Absolutely sensational by him on his return from that horrible leg break he suffered on Friday in Brno. And this man has been in a class.
Tavuglia to work with Valentino Rossi. There's going to be some emotion.
It really is, especially after what happened to him over the last 2 races. What a response this has been from Franco Morbidelli.
Well, given what's happened so far in 2020, you could arguably
Not get through on Rossi. Rossi in turn trying to find a way through on Pecco Bagnaia. Got this stage of the race.
Mir's gone through on Rins, sorry Matt.
And that could be it.
That could be done. Now then, Rossi! Oh, Rossi almost went down there on the exit of turn 1. Is dropping pace, hand over fist. This isn't over. Mir could still be on the podium here.
Yeah,
he's going to have a proper bite.
On the podium because it's Mir right behind him. Is he going to be close? I don't think he is. Rossi's been awesome on the brakes into turn number 8. No, Mir.
Rossi's now got to.
Here comes Mir!
He's going for it. They're almost touching.
Oh, what a move!
Was that?
What a move! That is a young man from Rossi.
Morbidelli comes across the line and he's done it. It's Samba time for Franco Morbidelli, who is finally Yamaha 1, 2, 3. Bagnaia take a bow. With a broken leg, he's second.
2020 Moto. That was by.
Wanted to catch them quickly, and he had a slide over the front. So, but I'm so happy for Frankie. His home race, you know. Thank you very much.
Hashtag Frankie says relax. Yesterday in the press conference, he said, I wanted to deal with the issue of racism in the world. I wanted to hug a message in different.